Hi, everybody. I am Amirh Johnson, resident of Union City, medical physicist, and mom of three.
Hi, I'm Derrick Richardson. I live in Union City. I'm a biotechnology professional and a father of two.
I've had several friends and neighbors and family members who have been on on the fence about taking the vaccine. And I guess my first question to them would be, what is the thing that makes you anxious about it, makes you question it? What is that? And then I would try to, help them find the answer. So some of the things that have come up, it are people don't trust the healthcare system. Black people have great reason not to trust the healthcare system. I work in it and I don't trust the healthcare system. I that's like I say that a lot because it's very true. Um, and so they don't trust that, this shot is going to be given to them in good faith. And so I would say, I hear you. I feel that same thing. But honestly, um, nobody is benefiting from all of these people dying. I mean, if you really think about it, nobody is going to benefit from, a bunch of dead Black people, a bunch of dead Latino people. Um, I cannot find a reason that Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson, Merck, who's on board to distribute the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, um, I really don't see a reason. I don't see any kind of motive that is possible um, for them to want to give us an ineffective and unsafe vaccine. I don't think any of those companies want that kind of issue. So, I mean, it's not, your warm and fuzzy answer, but in reality, there's no motive. There's no good motive for that. Um, Another thing that I hear is that it wasn't tested long enough. Um, the vaccine was rushed to market. Um, and the answer to that is it was it was developed really quickly. But some of that is not rushed. Coronaviruses are not new, and um, researchers have been studying coronaviruses for a very long time. So this particular variant already had, when they started developing the vaccine for this particular variant, they already had a large body of research to build on. And then in addition to that, you know, the this vaccine or this pandemic really called for all hands to be on deck. So any scientist, any researcher um, that was that could even be remotely helpful for developing this vaccine, they all worked together and got to work. And importantly, the people with money um, provided the funding. So a lot of vaccines. One of the things that is a little annoying about this, if look, if we put our minds to something and we put some money behind it, we can solve problems very very efficiently. Hmm. That isn't that interesting. So yeah, this was a problem that was really really important, and people with money, the people with the ability to provide resources, um, felt the need to put those resources behind it. So that's why it was developed very quickly. But it is safe. Like Derrick said before, I have looked at the trial design, I've looked at the trial data, and I don't see any any indication that it's not as safe as any other drug that's put to market. So those are the two biggies I think that I hear from my friends and family. Um, and so that's what I would say to them. Derrick, how about you?
Yeah, if somebody in one of my circles expressed reservations or were on the fence, Um, I would tell them that, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't give advice or tell them, I can't make the decision for them, but I would definitely encourage them to educate themselves. I would point them to, information that can help them understand and make a decision. And I would encourage them to use me as a resource or use somebody who has industry knowledge and scientific knowledge as a resource to help explain things to them. And I would say that even though I can't tell them what to do, I can vouch for the scientific validity of these trials and the efficacy and the safety of these vaccines. These trials, yes, they went really fast and they're not perfect. There are definitely limitations to the trials. Uh, Basically, the data that was published is what's called interim analysis data. These trials are still going on, and they basically just kind of took a data cut, analyzed the data, and communicated what they saw in the results. And what they saw was very powerful. These things work and they're safe, but these trials are ongoing. There's lots more work still to do, understanding how these vaccines work in pregnant women, understanding how they work in adolescents, understanding the level and the length of immunity that these vaccines give you. Those are all things that are still being studied and understood. But at this point in time, we have enough information to know that they work and that they're safe. The other thing that I would say to people who are on the fence is, um, do you really want to take a chance with this, right? What are your alternatives? This disease, this malady, it shows up as a bunch of different things. It shows up as a respiratory disease. It shows up as a cardiovascular disease. I have asthma. I don't want to take a chance with this thing. I don't want to end up on a ventilator. Um, so how much of a risk are you willing to take with your own health? And are you willing to risk death? Is one question I would ask people. That's really what's at stake here. The last thing that I would say to people is don't just think about you. Think about the people around you and the people that you care about. I think about my wife and my kids and my friends. I think about other people in the Black community who are more susceptible to this thing and can probably get really sick if I end up giving it to them, and who I could inadvertently end up killing because I didn't do my part. Those are all things that I think about and things that I would remind anybody who's unsure. And if you're unsure, that's fine. It's valid to be uncertain. I would just encourage those people to educate themselves and use the resources around them to get the facts, get the truth, and then make a decision.